Welcome, everyone. I'm Pat Mitchell. Joining me, as always, is Adam. How's it going, buddy?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. We've got a really interesting episode here today. I really hope people watch this. We're going to be diving into a cryptocurrency, in my opinion, scam. A lot of people, I could imagine, falling for it. But once you start doing the math and you start crunching those numbers, shit does not add up at all. Like, not even a little bit. And I think that before we get into like the website and everything else, because we're going to be taking a pretty deep dive into it. You know, it's really easy for people to get taken. You know, scams have come a long way since the days of the Kenyan prince needing help, needing money. And it's amazing that people actually fell for that. And I don't know if anybody knows the history of that. I don't know it in and out, but essentially there was an email scam that went on. This is decades ago, where they would target people, usually the elderly, and they would ask or basically claim they are a Kenyan prince and they need help with money, and they would be rewarded 10x, 100x, 1000x, whatever it was. And people would actually send them money. So before people start typing away and, really poking fun at people, that's not the intention of this episode. This episode is to really educate people on doing the math and really breaking things down. And I just hope it comes off the right way. We're definitely going to have some fun with this one, because what you're going to see once you start crunching the numbers, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that people fall for it, but they do. And it's a shame, because it's a lot of money, and it's money that people don't have. They're obviously desperate and looking for a way out of their current situation. And that's kind of where we're at in this world. Like, a lot of people just they want a way out. They need a way out. And what people need to realize, they need to cut this shit out and realize nothing is a lottery ticket. Nothing is some sort of divine intervention where it's like, oh, thank God I found this. No. This is bad. You're going to lose all your money. And then at the end of this, I'm also going to give you my thoughts as to how the rest of it is going to play out. I think I've got this scam all figured out. And I keep using the word scam. Remember, this is just my opinion. This is my opinion after doing some quick assessment of crunching the numbers and everything else and going over the contract and the way this contract is written. And I should note, Adam is going into this absolutely blind. I didn't send him the website because I want his first impressions. So Adam is essentially you guys watching this. Okay. Okay. So let's go into MrMining.net. Pretty professional website at first glances. Everything looks clean. Now I'm just going to scroll through the website first, and then we're going to take a dive. So BTC Cryptocurrency Mining LLC is engaged in mining cryptocurrency in Dubai. So pretty generic name, number one. That really catches my attention. And if you see something, Adam, just speak up. And so it tells you why Dubai, and we're going to go over this. So how it works. Let's talk about why Dubai. We share the profit of in the ratio of 40% to us, 60% to our clients, and we'll go over what that entails here in a minute. But the one thing that really captures my attention is this here. So the cost of electricity in UAE is one of the lowest in the world. Only a little bit better than a little bit less than 2.5 cents per 1 kilowatt hour. Thus, we minimize our expenditures due to which we get more profit. So the writing of this, obviously, it's been translated because it's not well written at all, or else it's just not well written. So when we talk about cryptocurrency, the first thing that one of the issues with Bitcoin mining or any type of cryptocurrency mining is their power, right? The power consumption, power and water for cooling, and power for obviously electricity to run all of their miners. And the electricity bills are huge. It's one of the hurdles, right? So when you take a look at this, it's like, oh, okay, so this is why they're able to make such massive profit. And we're going to go over and I'm going to show you what the actual price per kilowatt hour is in Dubai. It's not 2.5 cents. I don't know when this stat was taken, but as of April 2024, it's nowhere near that. So we'll keep going. So how to get started. So number one, you choose a suitable miner for you on our website and study its profitability and payback period. So when you see verbiage and once you are trying to find out and figure out how this works, and they use immediate words like profitability and payback period, it's that right there is designed to capture your attention. So number two, message us on Instagram which miner you'd like to purchase. So then number three, after purchasing, the miner will be installed on our farm within 24 hours. And you will be able to track your profit in your account on the website. So what's your first thoughts just about even how to get started? And I know you don't have any other information right now, but this how to get started is really interesting. There's a lot of red flags, and I want to see what your red flags are, Adam.
I mean, it's very vague. They're trying to make it's like they're trying to make it sound specific, but at the same time, there's no details in their details. Does that make sense? Like it's
Yes.
fancy vague in a way.
Yeah.
The miner will be installed on our farm and you will be able to track the profit. Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds weird.
I think what captured my attention is if you're going to give someone either hundreds of dollars, and you'll see the price points here and the packages here in a minute, or thousands of dollars.
Well, here, real quick. Here's why
Yeah,
I get it's a scam. Because if it's so profitable, you wouldn't have to set up a business model to get other people to pay you.
exactly. That's kind of number one, right? But if you're going to give somebody thousands of dollars, Adam, should you contact them maybe via email or maybe a phone call, or is it just on Instagram DM,
Well, at this point,
right?
well, I have no idea how much the investment is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you know that, but at this point, I have no idea what the ask is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So we
So
don't.
let's keep going then. So then you can find out the ask. So they give some statistics. So we work for days. I imagine that's how many days they've been operating for, 587. So that's under 2 years, guys. Okay, just for reference. Total number of customers, people that have bought into this, supposedly is 731 people. So total cost of all miners, and we're going to assess this number here in a bit because that can be taken two ways. Like Adam pointed out, and that was one of my first catches. It's vague. It looks like they're trying to give you information, but there's not enough information to know exactly what they mean by certain things. By $1.9 million is the total cost of all miners. So does that mean, especially the way a lot of this stuff is written, it's obviously translated, right? So does that mean that's all the money that they've made from the miners, or that's how much money they have invested into the Bitcoin miners? So we're going to do the math two ways on that, just to cover our bases. So now they are going into how many millionaires do you know who have become wealthy by investing in bank deposit? I rest my case. Well, you're going to have to explain a little bit more than that, but we'll keep going here.
Settled.
So this is how they make money. The operating principle is very simple. Investors invest their funds. Then we purchase the miners they choose with these funds. Next, we install them on our farm and the miners start working. Miners process transactions on the Bitcoin network and receive a reward for this. And finally, the profit is shared between us and the investors. Now, that's essentially what it is. You buy a Bitcoin miner, right? A little box that mines Bitcoin at different price points. And we'll go over those in a second here, I promise. And then there's a profit share of this. Okay. So you spend X amount of dollars and then you get 60% back or 40% back. Sorry. We'll go over the contract here in a minute. It's a 60-40 split is what it is. So now here are the miners that you can choose from. The lowest end is $200. Okay. And that returns $45 per month. And then obviously it varies. And let's go to their top package, $10,000. So that's $10,000 you're giving to someone that you have no idea who the hell they are. Okay. So the return per day is $142. Return per month is $4,260. So that's really interesting. So most people, when they're going through, if they have the money and they start crunching these numbers just very quickly in their head, like, oh man, I can make $142 a day. That's usually about as far as people are going to go with this. Okay. So that's kind of how this works. So now let's go to our referral program. So there is a referral program, and let's go to the platinum. Let's just deal with the highest end here, guys. So to get this status involved the investment to a total of $12,000. So you've already spent $10,000. And in order to get these perks, you need to basically find friends. So now you need to find friends, and you get 10% of your friends' investment. What does that sound like to you?
Well, a thought I already had up at the top, which is pyramid scheme,
Yeah, it's very pyramid, very pyramid.
MLM.
So going over these perks a little bit more, you get 10% of your friend's investment. You get special offers from our company, which who knows what the hell those are. And then you get a free Bitcoin miner. So an S17, let's look and see how much that is. So an S17 right here costs them an additional $1,500, right? Or that's the price of this. So they give you $1,500 for free. So that immediately tells me, okay, if I'm investing in a company, and I want you guys to think about this from a traditional investment perspective, okay? If you were to invest $10,000 in something, and it's an investment, they're not selling this stuff, right? This isn't a sale, it's an investment. You're buying the entire investment. You're buying a $10,000 product, okay? How much is it really if they're able to throw in an additional $1,500? So that's $8,500,
Well,
okay,
and the
for this
10%
piece of
for
equipment.
referral fees. Let's say your friend buys that. Wouldn't that be a
Yep,
factor as well? They've already loaded that referral fee into the price to pay that out.
exactly. So there's that. Now let's keep going on their stuff. The one that gets me really interested is this 7-day trip to Dubai at our expense.
Yep.
So if you give them $10,000, okay, essentially, and you get one person to buy one of these things, you're going to be at that platinum rate. Okay. Now, a 7-day trip to Dubai, what do you think that would be worth from the States?
Yeah, probably about that investment price.
There you go. So that's immediately a $10,000 price tag, right? $8,500 after you take off that S17 plus $8,500 trip to Dubai, roughly. This is all just rough math. We're going to crunch actual numbers here in a few minutes, guys, okay? And all of this, you're going to be like, oh shit, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Because right now, there might be some of you that are watching this that are like, maybe it's not too bad, right? Hey, maybe they're legit. So that's the impression. That's the entire website. That's all that's there. Anytime you click on any of this, it'll just take you to the part of the page. Okay. So now let's say that we are interested in this. Okay. So this is number one. This is what I did before I even crunched the numbers. I want to buy this right now. Let's buy it. Takes you to Instagram. Instagram has 3, 6, 9, 12. I don't know, 20 some posts. You have to message him. This looks about the most businessy one. Let's have I don't know. I won't be able to share this. So it's not in English. He basically takes you through this. So when you see stuff like this, it's like what they're trying to do in this one video is they're trying to give credibility, right? And that credibility doesn't necessarily mean too much because he could have just been taking a tour of a facility that actually has these, which isn't hard to do. It's like, hey guys, can I come in? This is pretty cool. I want to shoot a video. Sure, why not? Right? So, and I'm not saying that that's what's going on. I'm just saying you got to look at investments from a very skeptical perspective because you're about to give them your hard-earned money. Now, before we really start assessing this, I want to talk about how we look at business deals or investments. It's really crucial when we are about to give anybody any amount of money, from the lowest amount, $200 or $300, whatever it was, all the way up to a $10,000 investment, and maybe more. Like I'm talking about all investments. It needs to pass the smell test, okay? And if it doesn't pass the smell test like immediately, you got to run from it, okay? So that's just number one. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of perspective of how I roll when I'm looking to invest large sums of capital, whether it be with a potential share of a business or with land purchases, any of it. The second it becomes difficult, if there is any catch whatsoever, and I'm talking even a little bit, I'm gone. We bail, okay? If something doesn't look right, feel right, smell right, I'm gone immediately. Where people fail with this, and we're going to get back into this website and crunch these numbers here in a second, but where people really fail with this is they get caught up in the profit. And that's very classic scam approach. They make it all about profit, 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 profit. So anyone that, might be hurting for money, or maybe they don't come from a place where they have a large bank account, or they're still struggling paying their bills. Maybe they got a little bit of scratch saved up. That sounds really enticing. And it's very easy. I mean, this is something that has been going on almost since the dawn of time, right? It's easy to fuck people like that. And number one, this company is in Dubai. I'm going to show you the contract here in a minute. And okay, if there's a contract, this is someone that I don't know, but I'm 1 degree of separation away. Okay, so I want to make that clear. It's interesting that she's all in on this. And her response was, well, there's a contract. So we're going to take a look at the contract here. And these contracts, remember guys, even in the States, if this was in the States, and let's say you're in Colorado and you're dealing with a company in Florida, it can be difficult because of the different laws, state to state, to sue or to have that contract actually hold up in a court of law. People think contracts are way more than what they are. They're not, okay? So if you were to do a keep your mouth shut type of contract, and there's lots of those out there, they don't hold up state to state, okay? Or a no compete contract that doesn't hold up state to state. Some states may recognize, but they don't, okay? And that's just the United States, okay? So that's just like the smallest little bit about contracts, the smallest little bit. But that's all you really need to know. They don't really hold up state to state. And that's just the United States. So what the fuck are you going to do if something happens all the way in Dubai? Number one, kiss that money goodbye. You have to accept that. If you were to go in on this, you need to accept that. There's absolutely nothing you're going to be able to do. If you are scraping by, the amount of legal fees that what it would cost you in legal fees it would drain you, right? So there's that. So that contract, that's out the window. And that was her one saving grace is, well, there's a contract. So now let's go back into this. Okay, so let's start again with how it works. So we share profit in the ratio of 40% to us, 60% to the clients. So that immediately gets my attention. If they have the facility, right? and they're paying all the power bills and everything else, and all you're doing is making a small investment, because at the end of the day, in the investment world, this is a real small amount of money. I know it's not to you and I, but I'm saying in the investment world, $10,000 is absolutely nothing. Like it's nothing. There's nothing there. So they're willing to take the smaller cut. It's not how the world works at all, guys. I hate to break it to you, but number one, that really caught my attention. That percentage should be flipped. Okay. But that's what they're saying. Before we go over the contract, let's put this cost of power, because that was my thought. One of my first thoughts, once you start crunching these numbers, and it's like how much they have potentially only made, that $1.9 million. If that's the case, and in the under 2 years that they've been operational, they haven't made a dime, because that's what their power bill would come out to. Let's call it $1 million a year. That's not out of the realm of possibility for a Bitcoining farm. Okay. But they're now trying to tell you, if you crunch those numbers, that, well, the price of per kilowatt hour is only less than 2.5 cents. Okay, so let's find out. Let's find out if that passes the smell test. Something very simple, very easy that we can all figure out. So let's go to price of kilowatt hour, or price of electricity per kilowatt hour in Dubai. So how much does 1 kilowatt hour of electricity cost in Dubai? This is from Cost of Living Dubai, cost of utilities. This is as of April 20th, 2024. Electricity, it goes from 14 cents to 45 cents AED. Okay, so we need to do a conversion. So let's go to the high end. Okay, put in, was that 43 or 45? Sorry about that, guys. 45 cents. So 45 UAE is 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay, so that's 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So let's go back to what they say, 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour. When the fuck did they get that stat? Okay, if this website's up to date and they're being on the up and up and being on the level, one of the very first things, remember, this is just the top of the website here. Within the first 3-4 sentences, you've caught them in a lie. That immediately, if this was me, I would walk. I don't like that. That's bullshit. They're not being honest and straightforward. So immediately, I'm already walking. And that's something real small. That's how quickly I walk from situations like this when I'm investing money. So that is 2.5 cents. And it really is 12 cents per kilowatt hour. That is how many hundreds of percent more than what they said it was. Okay. So that's not good. So let's compare that now. Well, that's still cheaper than the States. Okay, let's find out. I did have that figure down here. I must have already closed it. Basically, it works out to, this is half the cost of what it is in the United States, roughly. Okay, cool. But that's still nowhere near what they said. Okay, so it's about 20, 24 cents, something like that when I looked it up, or 22 cents is what it was, sorry, on average in the United States per kilowatt hour. Okay, but it's still way more than what they said it was, like way more, like hundreds of percent. So that's no good, right? So now let's keep going. So again, how to get started. You choose a suitable miner. You have to buy it. You go to buy it, right? You press buy and you can't. It sends you to this guy's Instagram. Okay. So you're essentially giving hundreds or thousands of dollars, and you have to contact someone on Instagram. Well, how do I get them money? What, you gotta send them cryptocurrency? Like, they only accept cryptocurrency if it's a legitimate investment, guys. You'll have multiple ways to pay. Now, that could be the case. I don't know. I'm not going to contact this guy.
You have to pay him in crypto?
I have no idea. I don't know. I do not know. I would have to contact him to find out. It's like, I don't know. So let's go into this paperwork, because this paperwork looks really official. So state registration documents, this is their documentation, right? There's the owners. It's all written in Arabic. No, got no idea what any of this says. Some of it is in English, some of it is in Arabic, some of it has double. That's the email that's written in Arabic. So you would have to translate it. Already, it's becoming a pain in the ass. Just from my perspective. And I want you guys to know I am actually trying to look at this from a very like unbiased perspective. I know it may not seem that way. I am though. Okay. Now let's get into the contract because this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, so these are the terms. This is the contract here. And the first little bit here, I'm not going to read because there's not much going on in here. So these are the terms. Let's go to page 2. Okay, here's the agreement. So when you start reading the object of the agreement regulates a process in terms of using electronic resources and services of the company, as well as the terms of signing up at the website. Okay, time out. This is a contract supposedly written by lawyers. It's very easy, again, if someone has never done any type of legitimate investment where there are contracts written, immediately the way that this is written, it wasn't written by a lawyer. It was written by some dude on their back end that just like came up with some bullshit agreement. Would you agree with that, Adam? I know you've dealt with contracts and everything else. Even just that first statement, does that read like a legal contract?
No, absolutely not.
Not even a little bit, right? So under the terms of the agreement, the user gets the right to use his/her personal account at the website. Again, in legal documentation, it'll give you the actual website in every time it writes website. If they have to write it out first, the actual website, and then they'll make an amendment to that contract saying, from here on out, we will refer to www.blah-blah-blah.net as the website. And that'll be in quotes. Okay. And then it can continue with saying the website. It doesn't do that. Okay.
That would usually be in a kind of a preamble of a sort, where you have your definition, your definitions.
Exactly. So under the terms of agreement, the user gets the right to use his/her. I read that one. Sorry. The purpose of the contract is to yield receipt of profit from the cryptocurrency mining operations. So immediately, again, this contract is to protect the client, not the actual company. Never. When you are taking the time and you are writing up a contract for your company, an agreement to a client or a potential investor, it is always to the side of the company. It will never be on the side of the client or the investor. It doesn't work that way. We write our own contracts to protect us. It is up to the investor or the client to come back with his or her legal team and come back with a contract saying, no, these are my terms. I don't like this term. I don't like that term. We're going to need an amendment there. And then you go back and forth. That is a very typical investment type of scenario where it's like, there's a time where due diligence is done, right? This is part of the due diligence process. You're reading the contract and you're like, okay, I don't like the way this is written. Can we clarify? Or I don't like this at all. We need to strike this and we need to add this in. If they agree to those terms, you come back with an amended agreement or contract. Okay. So this is the process of a legitimate investment opportunity where there is real money at stake here. They are potentially going to be paying somebody out millions and millions and millions of dollars. We will get back to crunching the numbers here in a second. I don't want to make the contract part too long-winded, but you can already tell that this contract does not pass a smell test.
That doesn't even really make sense. That statement.
No.
Oh, it doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it does. It doesn't make sense. So I want to get to the part where it tells you the 4-year term. So essentially with this, without reading all of this and going through it, if you guys want, you can go right ahead and take a look. So now on this one in 5.1, so now we have all of these points, right? It's finally saying on the website at www.mrmining.net. So finally, after all these points, they've now referred to the actual website. Okay. So now let's go up a little bit in this area. And it says, okay, so you're going to be paid in US dollar, USD. Okay. So payment methods for services between the user and the company, according to the agreement, are Bitcoin or PayPal. So I want you to go to any proper investment where you would be paid out. They would have other options like bank wire, direct deposit. There would be a number of different ways. And sure, Bitcoin's fine. If you want to get paid in Bitcoin, I'll pay you in fucking Bitcoin. Don't care. Doesn't matter to me, man. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. But when you only have two options and PayPal is one, like PayPal, don't use PayPal. They've jacked so many people, me included, where it's like that is sketchy in itself. Okay. So that's just that right there. Like, I don't like any of this. It's like now I've got to deal with PayPal. Well, PayPal takes a percentage, right? So I need to get my investment back. And when you're crunching numbers with an investment and PayPal is charging service fees that are way over a bank's service fees, it's like, well, that adds time to get my money back. And it's like, no, fuck PayPal, right? Like, I'm not using PayPal. You can pay me a proper way. You can give me direct bank wire, right? We're talking about real money getting returned to you, not 50 cents, not a dollar. We're talking hundreds or thousands of dollars and potentially millions. I'm not getting that paid back into fucking PayPal, right? So that's just kind of number one. Now, this thing goes on. And again, like I said, I don't want to bore you guys too much with this. But here's the specification. This is where it gets really fucking stupid. So the return indicated on the website shall be guaranteed and unchanged throughout the miner's operating term. That right there, guaranteed. There is no contract on the planet, guys. No, you cannot guarantee profits. You can't, okay? Because it's going to go on. The miner's operating term shall be 4 years from the moment of its installation. So they have to pay you, come hell or high water, for 4 years on that system that you purchased, okay? 4 years. Now, you may think, oh, well, man, it's only 4 years. Fuck, that is a long time to be making payments to someone off of a $10,000 fucking unit, okay? Like, that doesn't happen where they will give you a guarantee, okay? Because it goes on and it tells you installation of the miner shall be performed within 24 hours from the moment of the user's payments of the miner's cost. Okay, so you buy this, and with 24 hours, they have to have that set up, operational, and making you money. They can't write that in a contract, guys. What if that unit was faulty and then they need to source another one, take the old one out, put the new one back in? You're not going to get all of that done in a 24-hour period because it's not really a 24-hour period. People need to sleep, right? So their business hours, and it shows on the website as well, if you do a little more digging, what their business hours are. They work from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., okay? So I know the miners are going, but nobody's there. There's nobody there to install these in a 24-hour period. They cannot write that into a contract. Remember, a contract is binding, right? So they're telling you from the time you purchase that, you are going to have that up and running and operational and making you money within 24 hours. And it has to, because that is written into the contract. They're not giving themselves any type of wiggle room, which in a contract you would. If you were to buy this, a more realistic timeline would be 7 days. 7 days that will cover their ass in case something happens. Do you know what I mean? So that tells me that those miners, they're already bought. They're already bought if they're bought, but they're already bought working, and they're just giving you a percentage off of something. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense. What do you think about that? About like those guarantees, Adam?
Yeah, I think it's more sales speak in a way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're so, oh, I get this, I get that, I get that. But like you're saying, feasible, technologically speaking, there's a little sleight of hand going on. You know what I mean? It's like how do you even verify that that thing has been actually activated and set up? Do you have a dashboard or some, can, like to say you buy solar
You
panels,
do. Okay, you
you're able
do
to
have a
talk.
dashboard. You do
Okay.
have a dashboard supposedly, and within 24 hours, it's going to show you all of the profit that that machine is making. But how do you still verify that? I can write
Yeah.
some bullshit script onto a computer, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's still a little suspect, but you have to dig more. But it does seem like you said, there's no wiggle room to really fulfill that. You've just basically got a farm that's probably already sitting there running, if it's even there. I mean,
exactly.
this could be all done in some internet cafe, and there's nothing there. Who knows? And they're just
Well, I looked up the addresses and it didn't pop up on Google Maps at all. I copied and searched and they don't pop up. And you can run any address. I've ran addresses down here in Costa Rica where it's like I'm trying to find a place and it'll still pop up on the map. Nothing popped up on that map in
it's
a
another one.
tech savvy. Yeah, it's like I don't like that at all.
You should be able to track where that facility is. I mean, they should have
Yeah.
a massive facility, with, security guards and security equipment, protecting all of this equipment because it would be an easy thing for someone to want to take.
Well, for sure, and there's nothing from what I see. There's nothing there. So a user shall have the right to withdraw his/her profit an unlimited number of times per day and at any time. Okay, again, they have written this. This is sales, what Adam said. This is to make the investor or the client feel real safe and comfy.
Mhm.
That's all it is. You can't
Yeah.
write stuff like that into an agreement or into a contract because, again, for this to make a guaranteed amount, and remember, these are guaranteed amounts. Clicking out of this is a guaranteed amount that you are guaranteed and bound by the contract. Okay. So return per day, $142. Return per month, 4,260. What if there's power outages? What if there's, right? So you are bound by a contract that they have to give you that amount of money. They can't do that. I wish people understood that when they're looking at contracts and everything else. And for anyone that's going to like dispute what I'm saying, you don't know what you're talking about. You cannot write that into a contract because if anything happens, they're now liable and prone and exposed to lawsuits. You can't write that into a contract. So now let's get to the fun part. Let's find out how long it'll take to get your investment back. This is real simple math. So $4,200 per month. Let's find out how many months it takes to get it back. So 10,000 divided by 4260.
So what happens after the end of the 4 years? You have to pay another 10,000.
No, I think that now the contract's void. They keep your miner, or it's going to have to be replaced because this miner isn't going to last 4 years of service. It just won't. You know what I mean? So I think there's
Yeah.
a lot missing out of that contract where it's like, okay, well, what happens if I own that and you're telling me I own that? Then I own it. What's going on?
Yeah. Why
So
did it end?
exactly, right? So with this here, you will get 100% your money back of an initial investment in 2.3 months. So 2 months, 2.5 months. Okay, so and that sounds pretty tasty, right? Oh man, I can have all of my money back that I invested in 2.5 months. Then it's pure profit, baby. So let's find out now
But
how
how do
much
they
you
even
make.
know that?
Wow,
You know what I
that's yeah,
How do they
yeah,
even know that there is that quantity of value to be mined from Bitcoin at any given time?
yeah.
Is it
They're
that
going off
scientific?
of statistics and they're going off of the potential, the 100% potential of this system, of what the 100% potential of mining capabilities are. Okay. So I hope people are following that. That doesn't mean that it will produce $142 per day. Again, and that's written into a fucking legally binding contract. You can't do that, man. There's
No.
no way that they would expose themselves like that, right?
I mean, is like at some point is the amount of Bitcoin to be mined infinite? I don't
No,
know a
of
whole
course
lot of.
not, because there's only so much Bitcoin, right? There's
That's
only
what I'm
so much
saying. So,
Bitcoin. Yeah,
when does that oil well run dry?
exactly.
Especially if you start scaling this, and I'm sure there's more Mr. Mining.nets out there doing the same scam.
Yep.
So, or let's say they're all legit, then the scarcity is gonna create, you know what I mean? The more that's mined, the less there'll be to mine. So how do you run this for even 4 years?
Well, and that's a good point right there. So what Adam said is a good point. So they're giving you numbers based on your 4-year term with them, right? That $142 a day come hell or high water times 365, which is 1 year. Okay. So times 4 gives us our total. So you will make $207,320 in Bitcoin, and that's what you're going to get paid out in that 4-year term. Now, what Adam said is interesting. So, for those of you that don't know, and I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency, it doesn't fucking matter for this type of thing. From what I do know, that cryptocurrency, that Bitcoin, it gets harder to mine and it becomes almost like diminishing returns as more time goes by. Okay. It becomes harder and harder and harder to mine to where those last few Bitcoin are going to take so long to mine out that Bitcoin that it will never happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense, Adam?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's how that works. So they're giving a 4-year term of MrMining.net plus a million other mining operations around the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how can they guarantee that when it's diminishing returns? This year, it might be $142 per day. Next year, it might be $139 per day. The year after that might be $127 per day. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Like, it becomes diminishing. Now, I'm not saying that my numbers or my math is correct on that part at all. That's just pure guess, right? But it's to put it into perspective that it's like this doesn't add up.
Anyone considering this should be asking, well, what is mining? You know, and be curious and go and do research and really understand why are people doing it? When did it start? How long has mining been going on? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 2 years? You know what I mean? And then there's so many questions to ask before you should put $1 into any. And this is like for all investments, right? Especially if it's an area that it's not an area of expertise. Become an expert, then make the investment because you know what you're investing in.
Well, and the thing is, these guys have only been operational for under 2 years. So you're going to put your money with a very new company, right? Like, if you're going to start investing with Bitcoin miners, number one, I'm not using PayPal to get paid out. Number one, I shouldn't have to purchase this, right? They should have it and I'll invest in their company and then they can do whatever they want with the money, like a proper investment, right? You're not just buying miners, right? So you're purchasing all of their equipment for them. At some point, with the amount of miners that they have, and we're going to get into that, they're making $210 million per year. So, and we'll do the math on that and you'll see that my numbers are correct. So why would they still need your $10,000? That doesn't make any sense because now they're giving 60% to you and only 40% to them. Their model doesn't make sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back into crunching these numbers. So you will be paid out $207,000 on your initial $10,000 investment. So that works out to be, well, it'll be a little bit different because the math is a little bit different here, but that is a 2,000% increase of your initial investment. Adam, do you know of any investment out there that will guarantee, remember, this is all guarantee a 2,000%?
I'm not familiar with anything of that nature.
No way, man. No way.
You can guarantee 100%. It's a nice, nice.
Exactly. Pure nonsense. So let's go back up to their numbers here. So they worked for 587 days. That's less than 2 years. So let's take a look at 731 customers. Now remember, they're not all of these are going to buy that high-end package, but that's what we're going to crunch the numbers on. We're going to crunch it on the highest of the high end. Okay. So $207,000 times 731, because that's how many people. This is what they will be paid out in 4 years. So that is $151 million. Okay. That's what they will pay out. $151 million. Now, like I said, crunching the numbers, they will make $210 million or something like that in a year. Or I'll have to crunch that again. I don't want to get lost in the numbers. Sometimes it's easy to do that. That's what they will be paying out in that 4-year period. So that is 151 million divided by 4. This is per year. There we go. So $38 million per year is what they are paying out. So there's a couple of ways to look at this number. Remember, we've looked at this website and the way things are written. It's kind of hard to know exactly what they mean. So total cost of all miners, $1.9 million. So $2 million. Now let's take that as that's how much Bitcoin they've mined so far, which that's roughly what would make sense. To be honest, I don't believe that this is the total cost of all of their miners. It might be, but if you were to crunch the numbers, if you know anything about how Bitcoin is mined and how little you get like per day and everything else, it's probably $2 million that they've made so far in this under 2 years. That would make sense to me. Does that number make sense to you, Adam? Probably that would be what they've made.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere around there, right? Like they wouldn't be making more than that in under 2 years. Like their facility would have to be massive. Like when you're Bitcoin or mining Bitcoin, you don't make that much. Like you're talking pennies a day type of thing. Like if you've got like a home setup. So to make dollars per day, you're going to need a pretty big setup. So that's that. Now let's take a look at, so 731, right? This is 1.9. So let's say the total cost of all miners, that like all of their purchases. So that would be, okay, so 1.9. Okay, so this is the total number of miners now. So divided by the number of customers. Let's find out how many actual physical miners they've bought, because I don't know what that number means. So let's figure it out both ways. So they have bought 2,600 mining units. Okay. So let's figure out how much money they've made. Now, would you say 2,626 people have bought the $10,000 unit? Probably not, right? What price point should we put it at? Maybe half? Go with a nice $5,000? And I don't even think that would be the average.
Because to me, the people who are probably putting money into this they're probably kind of more gamblers and not highly informed. And therefore, probably, where are they coming up with the money? Do they really have that much? They're probably not the smartest money management people.
No.
Right. So I would think if that's the case, this is going to be a stretch. So it would probably be on the lower tier,
So let's be generous and give them the $2,000 price point. That is the average, which it is, and I guarantee the average is probably more like the 750 average, right? But we're going to be real generous, and we're going to give the $2,000. So that is how many units they have. So times $2,000. No, sorry. Let me do that again. 26. That's how many units they have. So let's find out per day how much that will make. So $19.20 per day. So $19.20. Okay, so that's what it makes per day, right? So times 365. So what they're claiming to make $483 million, $500 million. Why do they need your money?
Well, that was my first thought. If this is such a good thing and they're making money, I would just reinvest it, buy more equipment, and put the money in my pocket. It would never, ever, why go through all of that trouble?
I don't mean to cut you off, but to really put it into perspective, to have a payout system and to pay people out. And remember, the public is a pain in the ass to deal with. You're going to have people contacting them constantly. That is not worth the headache. I can see if this was legitimate and real to do one round of investment to get them up off the ground. I understand that. Like, that's completely normal. That would be a normal investment opportunity where it's like, okay, we want to start a mining operation. We want to buy X amount of units. This is what it should produce per year. This is how we would pay you out and everything else. But to do this constantly, if they've made that in 1 year, so that's 1 year, they've been operational for 2 years. So let's time this by 2. So basically $1 billion. So if their profits are in the $1 billion range, why the fuck do they need your 10 grand? They don't. No way, man. Sense.
They're giving away 6 cents, 60 cents out of every dollar.
Exactly.
For something that has no purpose. Exactly. It doesn't make any, as a business operator, it would make no sense for me to do that. If I just set these things up on my own, have my little crew running them and managing them, and every time we mine X amount of dollars, add them another machine and just scale. Why in the world would anybody, why bring them into your club?
You wouldn't.
For altruistic reasons, you wouldn't.
Yeah. You wouldn't. Not on this level. No fucking way.
No, it's a pyramid scheme is what it is. If he is paying anybody out, he's taking money, people that are buying into it. But I would really wonder, like, okay, well, where do you go for support? Is that in there? Where do you go, in the agreement? What is the terms of termination, right? Well, what if you're not happy with the service? Do I get my money back? Is there a refund? Is there a 30-day cancellation? I mean, there's so many questions.
There's a lot of questions with that contract. A lot. Now I want to give what I believe they will do. Again, this is purely my opinion. I'm just speculating. I have no basis for what I'm about to say. This is just pure spitballing, hypothetical. So here's what I believe is going to happen. Let's say you invest that $10,000. I do believe that they will get that initial $10,000 back, and I'll tell you why. They're going to get that initial back in that 2.3 months or 2.8 months, whatever it worked out to be. I think 2.3 months. You're going to get that money back. Because they are working off of a referral system, nobody is going to trust this. Okay? So nobody's going to trust this. So they hold your money for 2 months, 2.5 months. It's the long game, right? It's a long fleece. It's a long con. They issue your money back to you in small amounts, and you will have your money back. You're going to pull profit. People are going to pull that profit out. Mm-hmm. And then these people, let's say it was you, Adam, that did this. You're going to go around to everyone you know, and you're going to say, here are the statements. It's legit, guys. Holy shit. I got my money back in 2 months. Everyone will sign up. You're going to have about 10 friends sign up. They might even do a small little investment. They will get their money back too, their first money back. And then this is where it comes in. I believe they're going to hit you with a super duper platinum extra plus package for 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is, 20 grand. I don't know. Whatever the number is for their super duper package. Okay. And because they've proven that they are legit and you got your money back, you're going to remortgage your home. You're going to fucking do whatever it takes to get that. You are going to go all in on it. Because why wouldn't you? If they're going to pay you out 2,000x your money, in a 4-year period, why wouldn't I give them every last dollar I had and just collect a paycheck from them? Right. So I do believe, and this is what's going to fuck people up, because you might even have somebody watching this that has been, no, they're legit. See, here's my statements. You're going to get that initial investment back. And then you're going to tell all of your friends, and they're going to get another 10 people, and it goes exponential, right? Then those 10 people will get 10 people. You understand? That is what I believe is going to happen. They will get their, maybe, like, I've got a really good feeling that they will get their initial back. And then after that, they're going to get you to invest big, pull the cord, go bankrupt. Fucking sue me, motherfuckers. I'm in Dubai.
Yep. I think you're right. I think you nailed it.
I really think that it's sad and it's sick. And people fall for this sort of stuff all the time because, to talk a little more serious and candidly about this, I know what it was like to want out so fucking bad out of my situation as a contract welder. I hated being away from my family so fucking much. I would have done anything. And people think I'm joking when I said, and have said multiple times, I would have, if somebody could have shown me a way to get out, I would have fucking killed for that motherfucker. I would have done anything. And I don't care what you think of me for saying that. I'm telling you, that's how fucking desperate I was to get the fuck out. I would have killed for it. Okay. And I don't mean in a figurative way. I mean literally. If somebody would have said, you do this and I'll give you your freedom, I can show you how to do this 100% guaranteed, I would have been all over it. That's how desperate I was. So when people go to these websites or they find these investing opportunities because they watch some YouTube video, he's got his referral fucking link down below. Here's all of my fucking receipts. See, they paid me out. And they might pay out a few people. They might, man. So I get it. I understand why people get involved with shit like this. It's not a joking matter. And I'm sure there's going to be comments in this video of like people saying like, oh, stupid fucks fall for this. Hey, like desperation will lead men and women to do really stupid things. And it's fucking sad that there are predatory people out there, and it's not hard to do. He literally opened up a fucking website, and it is so easy to do that. Any asshole can do it. And if you send me money, right? So let's say I'm the asshole, right? And Adam, you send me 10 grand, right? And I'm going to play the long game, right? I need one $10,000 investment first. And I'm going to hold that money for 2.3 months. And I'm going to ship it back to you at little bits at a time until it's all paid back. And then you're going to go around, and now I'm going to get an additional 10 people investing at 10 grand. Well, I've got 100 grand that I could walk with, or I continue the fleece. Yeah. Right. And then now I just need another 10 on top of that. And I got $1 million. And I need another 10 on top of that, and I got $10 million. Well, at $10 million, I can go to start a life anywhere I want across the fucking planet, anywhere for $10 million and live well the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I believe could possibly be going on here. Again, this is just pure hypothetical situation. If I were to be doing this, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
Right? And people are going to fall for it, just like this person that is 1 degree of separation away from me. And it bothers me because it wasn't me trying to talk to them, because like I said, it's 1 degree. It was the 1 degree person that was trying to talk to this person and talk some sense into her. And she wanted no part of it because she's the crypto king, man. She knows about crypto. You don't, so-and-so. I do. Right. Have you made any money with cryptocurrency yet? No? Okay, then you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Cut this ego bullshit out and start listening to people around you, because that money would have been more well served. Not that it would have even costed you $10 or $10,000. You could have taken 9,000 of it and opened up a proper day trading account and left $1,000 in a separate account for the monthly fees. And you would, by that point, by the time that $1,000 ran out, you would already be making about $600 a day. Doing it properly. Doing it fucking properly and not looking for the big payout. There's nothing that comes easy in life, guys. When it's that easy, run.
Yeah.
I've never said, even with the size up program, as easy as it is, right? Because all you need to do is just fully listen to what we're directing you to do, and it will happen. It will happen. But there's still work on your end. It's not like you just give me X amount per month and I'm guaranteeing you. No, you still need to do the fucking work. Seeing stuff like this, it bothers me, man, because there's so many people that will fall for stuff like this or websites like this. Why the fuck do you need to contact this guy on Instagram?
They exist because people, they want the fruit without the farming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They want it without having to put in the work. That's what's sad about it.
It's
And so
really
the
sad.
predatory people know this, that people's
Yeah.
character is compromised, and that the people will get their character will give them what they get, what they deserve. Unfortunately, you want that fruit, you're gonna, without working the farm, not gonna work. Nature doesn't work
No.
that way.
And especially going, and now that you've like been through the whole website and the contracts and we crunch some numbers, what are your kind of closing thoughts on that website? Like, just like, what are your thoughts over what we all just went through? Because this is the first time you're seeing this.
Yeah, 100% scam. I highly doubt that that equipment even exists.
Yeah.
It's like, really, you've got that many, what is it, $500 increments? You literally have that many models just to, it's more sales because he's put these in there to uh, appeal to every possible price point. And what was it? If I remember correctly, $500 increments. That's very convenient. It's
Yeah.
just another thing. It's like I'm a chef and I have 50 different kinds of knives. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you need basically 3 or 4 knives
Yeah.
in your toolkit. That's all you need, 3 or 4 good ones for different cutting purposes. And a good knife will give you 75% of those cutting purposes if you need it. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
need that much equipment to mine. You probably need a low end, a 2 mid tiers, and a high end, right? If it was legit. So just that alone is very suspicious because it's about selling to the person's ability to what they want to spend in their mind on something. $500 increments. It's too convenient.
Well, there's like 12 or whatever, I don't know how many, 10 or 12 different units. You're telling me they have access to you purchase them within 24 hours, no matter what? Like, what are you
The
talking
operationally
about?
it wouldn't make sense because now you've got different equipment that needs maintenance. You've got different parts. You've got higher overhead by having that much equipment to manage. It doesn't make sense. And then organizing it and keeping track of it. And I mean, it's just who owns what. You like I said, you wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be operationally make any sense, especially at scale.
Yeah.
It would just be too messy.
Well, especially the lower end models. If this was legitimate, they would probably offer one model. That's the investment. Take it or leave it. It's a $10,000 investment, and it would probably be more like probably 20 or $30,000. Like, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna have something, a $500 unit. How much do you really think that can mine? Nothing.
Yeah.
It won't mine fuck all, right? Why would
The
they
most
waste their space in their farm for it? They
exact.
wouldn't. You wouldn't. Space is a commodity, man. Especially when you're dealing with stuff like this on like stacking. And we're not even calculating the water cost to cool. I would imagine they would be water cooled units. They can't just run off of a fan. Those things are like smoking hot, man.
Oh, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, just think of the power outlets because you're gonna have most people buying the low end. You have 1,000 people. You're gonna have 1,000 of those, 1,000 outlets if they are water cooled. All of that plumbing. I mean, it just goes on and on. It doesn't. It's an inverse business model. It doesn't
It's
work.
insane. It's
Yeah.
insane, is what it is. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is what I want people, like, hopefully people watch shit like this. Like, man, this videos like this are so important because I understand, like I said, at how desperate people are. When you don't, like, if you're going to invest your money, crunch the fucking numbers. Do the math. All it takes is a calculator for like 2 fucking seconds. And it took me yesterday, and I know this is obviously a long video, but it took me about 3 minutes to crunch all those numbers that I did. I looked at it both ways. I looked at it this way. I looked at it that way to come to the conclusion that no, it doesn't make sense. Do the math, guys. Stop just like fucking going all in on these stupid like get rich quick schemes. Nothing is get rich quick. Work for it. You got to bleed to get to success. You have to. Nothing comes easy, especially if you don't come from a family or a background where there's money and success. Like, there's no fucking way, man. Do you know how difficult the odds are stacked against you? Like, even for me, like, I can speak from experience what I had to do and what I had to go through to dig myself out of where I was. It's like that should have never been in the cards. It's a rare success story because I had the drive and determination and discipline to do things correctly. And it took me doing everything precisely and correctly to get to where I am. If I misstepped even once back then, I would not be fucking sitting here. I wouldn't. It's that difficult to end that cycle of being fucking broke. If you grow up broke, you're going to die broke. That is what the odds tell you. 99.9% of people that are born broke will die broke. That 0.1% can make it out. And you have to, and the only separating factor is because the 0.1% will do things fucking correctly. Stop looking to get rich quick, guys. I fucking hate seeing this. I hate seeing people piss away 10 grand. 10 grand? Holy fuck, what you can do with 10 grand. Amazing things, man. I wish I had 10 grand back then. I didn't even have fucking 10 grand.
Right.
You know, like, it's crazy, man. I wish people would just wake the fuck up, man. That's what I wish. I really wish that. And people would stop pissing away opportunity and money because they see a quick road. If it's a quick road, run. That's all I got to say, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, I think I'm going to wrap this one up.
Great, man. Well, thanks for sharing that. Nice exercise in curiosity.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, man. Later, guys.
Thanks.
Adios.